In the last video, we saw how we can create simple classes. We can create classes using the class name and a pair of parentheses. We were modifying the attribute value after we had created the class. That looks a little bit clumsy. There is a better way to instantiate an object using _init method. This method is special in Python. Every class which has this init method defined will use this method while creating new objects. It executes all the code inside this method while creating new instance of a class. This is also called constructor in object-oriented programming languages because it constructs a new object. Let's create this method for our person class. Define _init method, and this method as usual takes self as its argument. Inside the method, simply print creating instance of person class. Now let's open our favorite Python interactive cell, import the class. Let's create our person object p1, and you can see this message printed here. It does a lot more than that. If we want to assign value to our age attribute, we can do so while constructing our object. In that case, we can pass age argument, and that argument we can assign to the age attribute of our object. Let's pass age as argument, and inside the method body, remove this print statement and add self.age equals age. This syntax may look a little bit awkward to you. Here, this age variable we are passing can be named anything. If I replace this to years, then I have to replace this one to years as well. But this self.age remains the same. This class has age attribute, and that's what it refers to. The convention is to use the same name for argument, so let's change years back to age. With these changes, I have to provide age as argument when creating person object. Let's see this in action. Let's restart our Python interactive cell. If I try to create person object without passing age argument, I get this error saying that dunder init method takes one required positional argument age. So let's provide age of 28, and now it creates this person p1. If I check p1.describe, we can see that the argument we had passed is being used here. Let's exit Python cell. Now we will write our code in this file itself. Let's clear out the console. We can also provide default values to this init method's arguments. So let's remove this default value of 21 here and assign none. In the init method, provide the default value of 20. Let's create new object p1 equals person. If I call p1.describe and execute the file, it gives this new age variable. Let's create name attribute with the default value of none, and inside the init method, pass name argument and assign it to this attribute using self.name equals name. Now to create person object, we also need to pass name, but first let's modify our describe method as well. Let's write I am self.name and I am self.age years old. Here, let's remove these two lines of code and create John, and he is 25. If I call John.describe, it prints this. If I create another object Jessica with age of 21, if I check the description, it prints Jessica's description. We can also pass args and quarks to our init method. So let's pass quarks to our init method, and inside the method we can loop over key and values. For key, value in quarks.items. Now to set each attribute here, we cannot say self.key. For this, we have to use setAttr method for setting attributes. It's going to be setAttr, then we specify the object on which we want to set these attributes. It's going to be self. Next argument is the attribute name. Let's create attribute that we pass as keyword. And finally, we have to provide the value for this attribute. Now here, for John, let's pass student equals false. And for Jessica, we pass keyword argument student equals true. Let's change our describe method to use this student attribute. Let's change this print statement to IamSelf.name, self.age, and here if he is student, I want to print I am a student, else I am not a student. This print method takes another argument, and by default it has the value of new line character, and that's why every print statement is printed in a new line. We can change the behavior of this print function by assigning single space to AND attribute. Now we write conditional if student print I am a student, else print I am not a student. If I execute, it prints I am not a student for John, and for Jessica, she is a student. Now ideally, these values should be assigned inside the init method. So let's remove these variables from the top and let's keep it in the init method so that it's only assigned from the init method. We can also provide the default value if we need to have a default name attribute. So that's how you can use the init method in Python classes. Now it's your turn. Create a class student with attributes name and current education. Both of these attributes are going to be a string, and create a very simple describe method like this one. You should also use the init constructor method. Good luck with this challenge and post your solution once you are done with it. If you have any problem creating it, please ask a question in the comment section below and I will try to answer it as soon as possible. I hope this video was helpful for you. I will see you in the next video.